And I am live. Let's wait a couple of seconds to see if I have some weird stuff. I'm just exploring with the with the program right now. All right, is anyone coming? Nobody here yet. All right, I'm gonna start anyway. Hopefully, people will join later. The reason I'm doing a live stream right now is just to kind of go in review of all the things I had in mind at the beginning of the season, everything I wanted to do, everything that I have accomplished, and everything that I failed to get. I put down 7 main goals. 7 goals I had. Number 1 was to get meat for the year, which included pork, chicken, beef / moose / deer, any kind of red meat really, in my freezer for the whole year. That's mission half accomplished, half failed. With everything that happened, the complaint that I had against me, that I had to get rid of my pigs. I couldn't even get a single ounce of meat on them. Really, the trouble that I would have gone through to get just maybe 30 pounds of meat wasn't even worth it. So I lost roughly, just with the porks, just with the pigs, roughly about $1,500. The fencing, feed, everything. Fish, I didn't get as much fish as I would. I have 2 striped bass in my freezer, and I think I had 2 lunch of fish. So that's definitely not enough. For chickens, I purchased 75 meat chickens at the beginning of the year. Of those 75, 52 were day-old chicks. I knew for a fact that when you get day-old chicks, chances are you're going to lose some. And I think I shouldn't have talked too fast, but after 2 weeks, I think I made a small video saying that, I didn't want to brag, but I didn't lose a single one. Unfortunately, after the complaint, I felt devastated. I felt terrible. There's no word to describe how I felt. Really, when you think about a neighbor that puts a smell or her own, just the way that people would see her, that would be more important to a neighbor than feeding healthy food to children. So she literally chose the way that she would look in society before my own children. That's something that I will never forget and I will never forgive. There's not much I can do, unfortunately. I mean, there's nothing I can do. Put my house for sale, and hopefully I'll be able to sell it sooner than later. But that being said, I did end up losing a couple of chickens. It was probably more than a couple. I might have lost around 20 meat chickens. Some of them died. You give them water. There might have been in a too small of a space, and that's something I learned. if I ever have to either stay with a in a bigger space. Um, that being said, because I had to get rid of my chickens, I was able to harvest a couple of and those on no, and by doing that, I was able to get a couple more chickens. There, am I back? I don't know what happened. My internet connection simply dropped. That's the way my life has been this year, I guess. So yeah, I still have maybe a dozen meat chickens to butcher. So I'm gonna have chicken for the whole year. I wanted to have turkeys for Thanksgiving and for Christmas or New Year's Eve. I ended up with three, three turkeys, which is what I need. Unfortunately, my province has been pretty severe lately with the COVID situation, and well, let's just say that we're in lockdown again. So we didn't have our Thanksgiving supper yet. It's gonna come anytime soon. For those of you who are not from Canada, our Thanksgiving is on is it the first full week of October, the first Monday or the second Monday or something like that. Anyway, it turned out to be around like the 10th or 11th. Hey Thor, how are you? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The way that the gods treated me lately. So yeah, I ended up with three turkeys that I still have in my freezer because Thanksgiving was canceled for us, or rather pushed back. I have chickens for the year in my freezer, and I have moose meat, about 400 pound of moose meat. Stuffed rabbit, yeah, I tried rabbit for the first time. That's something I didn't have in my objectives for this year, but I tried rabbit for the first time. Not bad. It does taste like chicken. I find it's a little bit more stiff, a little bit like grouse, maybe like the partridge we ate the other day. It's a little like chewy, maybe, but I did like it. And yeah, the beard. Um, that could be my next point. I was letting my beard grow for deer season, and like I just said about Thanksgiving, well, let's just say that the lockdown that we're in right now in the province is hard on me on two different situations. I was supposed to go deer hunting with my dad and my brother, and for the first time, we were going in a different territory in a whole new part of the province. It was a whole lot cheaper. We found through Airbnb a nice place, and we were supposed to, well, we'd be supposed to arrive today. And turned out we couldn't leave. We couldn't go because of everything that happened. And at work, we're on strike as of this morning. And because of that, all the employees are not allowed to have vacation. So if I decided to go deer hunting, I could have had uh, consequences that I don't know about. I don't know what they meant by consequences. And I know for a fact that it would have been no pay. With only one salary coming in the house, with 5 kids, I need to work, I need the money, so I had to cancel my vacation. Yeah, that's gonna come later on too. The reason for the guys to take notice, I'm upping up my game, hopefully, and hopefully it's gonna work out in the next year. Yeah, it's if you guys have been following the news, I mean, I think it's 13 different kind of union in the whole province that's on strike. Education system is affected. The health system is affected. Like bus drivers, teachers assistant, um, janitors. Uh, like I'm a pharmacy technician, so we're affected. Janitors in the hospital also. The LPNs, I think they're in there also. The kitchen, like the food department, the cleaning, every cleaning aspect of the hospital, basically, the laundry, etc. They're all on strike. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but something better happen quick because the province is already in a lack of staff, and the strike is not helping. Not that I'm not saying I'm against the strike. Far from it. I mean, I'm 100% behind them. What I mean is, I hope that the government does what they have to do and give us what we deserve. Sorry. Back to my objectives. Number two that I wanted to do was to have more veggies than last year. That wasn't really hard to do. Let's just say that last year I didn't have much. I think I had a couple of zucchinis. I didn't really know how to freeze them. I had a couple of beans, but we ate them pretty much right away. Um, what else did we have? We had lettuce, spinach, stuff like that. There, we ate a lot of salad, but I wanted to go more than that this year. My goal is to get to the point where I can learn to be as self sufficient as possible. With everything that happened this year, with the fact that I can no longer have a farm on my property, that's going to put some serious barriers in my long term plan. But at least I'll be able to have veggies for a while, and hopefully I learned enough this year that I can get even further next year. I have been so busy this last month. Yeah, it's I've been so busy, and with the fact that like, let's just say that everything that happened made me kind of depressed. Like I wanted to quit everything for a while, and the ones that I was watching regularly, like even like Justin Rhodes, I don't think I've seen one single episode from him since July, and I've seen every daily episode since last year when I started watching YouTube's. Like um, I try to follow all you guys. I'm behind, and I'm sorry. I know Tihan141 Tracy is probably gonna watch me later, or might join up later if he sees me on. Lay on his channel also. Annie at Basic to Homestead. I'm late on her channel also. I don't think I've seen any video from Mallory in like a month, which is not acceptable when you think about it. You guys have been following me and supporting me, and I'm here, and um, I mean, I'm so behind on everything that it's not an excuse. I have to get back and start watching each and every one of you. And yeah, the veggies, me too. I'm relying on the freezer a little bit too much, but I managed to make some onion powder. Um, Roughly the size of this. These are just spinach seeds, but I have a full vial about that big, full of stevia, and I have one maybe up to here of onion powder and some pepper I had. I don't even know what kind of pepper they were. They were just about that big when the season ended, and we just tried to take a lick on it, and I mean my eyes were burning, so I can just imagine how strong they are. I don't know what they are actually, but I dehydrated them and I put them in the grinder and made some powder. I'm gonna use them as spice on some of my steaks, meat steaks, moose steaks I have. Um, Preserving was one of my objectives, and goes with number two. It's something that I did improve. Um, I want to do a live stream with. I don't remember exactly the way that she spells or calls her channel. Dom Teresa, everything you need to know about canning. She's got it all. Um, I mean, she proposed it that we would do a live stream at some point where she would kind of teach me how to do some canning. I'm the kind of guy that I learn fast, but I need to be there, do it myself, and then someone needs to tell me if I do something wrong. And I just need to do it once. Once I do it, I'm good. And by having her, doing it with me could have been a good idea, or a good way for me to learn how to can, because I want to learn how to can my meat. I have moose steaks. I mean, everything is frozen, but like you're saying, Darren, if we lose power, I might lose a bunch of stuff. So it's not the best way to go. Um, Another thing, I was able to can some strawberry jam. I also had some applesauce. Those were pretty easy to do, and I learned how to do that. It's not much, but to me, it's a step forward. I also managed to preserve a lot of fiddleheads, carrots, yellow and green beans. I blanched them and I froze them, and I have fiddleheads for definitely for a year. We gave a lot. We had about 80 pounds of them in spring, so hopefully it can last until next spring. I know my girlfriend gave a couple to her sister, to her mom. We still have the freezer full. We have big bag of carrots. Also, I was very pleased with the amount of apples I had, which is something that was really really unexpected, because I have the one apple tree here that was planted a couple years back. It For a while I thought it died on me. Got someone from Belanger Landscaping come over, take a look, and they told me, if you trim it in a certain way, it might just survive. So I did what they told me, and here I am 3, 4, 5 years later maybe, and I had about 50 apples on it, which is pretty awesome. Hi Annie, welcome. How are you? And I have a second apple tree that was planted last year. It had 3 apples on it last year, but I mean, you buy it, they already have apples, and it didn't have any apples on it this year. So I thought that this was it for apples. But bird hunting, when I was grouse hunting with my son, um, we whenever we go bird hunting, we try to go towards the apple trees. That's a secret. My brother's going to kill me for that. But if you go where you see apple trees, partridge are there. They're eating apples. You might see bears. Be careful. Don't go there thinking that everything is safe. But and by doing that this year, we found so many apple trees, so many different apples. Some were delicious to eat just straight out. Some were a little bit too soft, and we used them for our applesauce. I also dehydrated a couple um, in apple leather, those little fruit roll-ups thing, and yeah, that's all something new that I was able to do this year. Yeah, I find that they last longer too because you can blanch them. Then you can just put them in the freezer for maybe 30 minutes to an hour. And what you can do after, you take them out, and then they're easier to vacuum seal because they won't have all this humidity in them. That's one of the things that I hate the most about vacuum sealing stuff because you put it in and then it sucks all the water from the veggies and can't seal. So yeah. Um, One of my objective was also to grow a bigger garden. That's something that I did, although it wasn't like a big, super, mega huge change. Um, I have an extra, I think it's 6 by 8 on the side of the house, which is where I want to put my greenhouse next year. I have just a small greenhouse that I purchased this year. I didn't even get to use it. Um, I have an extra maybe 2 feet wide by 10 feet long um, on the garden I had behind my house, which allowed me to grow a whole lot more stuff. I also have those 2 strips in front of my shed, barn, whatever you want to call it, where I had my sunflower seeds, my corn, my onions, and this is where I planted my mint, my mint plants this year. So hopefully, oh, this is not the one I wanted to show. Hopefully next year the mint will grow, and I've been drinking mint tea pretty much every day with pure honey that a friend of mine from work gave me or sold me, I should say. Um, One of my objectives was also to have more perennial, um, like more fruit trees, more strawberries and stuff like that. I did get a lot more strawberry plants than I had before, although I'm not sure what to do with the trees. I mean, strawberries, worst come to worst, they're so cheap. If I ever move out, um, I'll just grab a couple of plants or just buy some new ones and start from scratch. But if I am to sell my house, it could happen anytime. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna move. Um, if it happens, um, I don't want to invest a couple of $1,000s of trees on my land and then having to sell the house and move away and lose all that. But then at the same time, if I'm to stay here because I can't sell, well, I want to have some options. Doing pour so hard with a regular vacuum sealer. Yeah, and especially when you blanch stuff, you have a lot of moisture in them too. But commercial sealers are probably pretty expensive though. The one I have is not too expensive. It's doing a good job. I like it. It's just that sometimes when there's too much moisture, I mean, you can try as much as you want to dry it up. Take towel paper and just it won't work. Already into your rum. So I heard, Darren, that you, well, I didn't hear it. I saw a couple of videos. I didn't really have time to sit and watch them closely yet, but I've seen you go around a little bit. I know you wanted to go visit Haney. I don't know if you went already or not. I know you went to visit Hickory Craw Farm. Um, I hope you had fun. That's something I'd like to do as soon as we can actually be free for real. That's something I'd like to do. Go visit you guys. I mean, we talk to each other on YouTube. We talk to each other on live streams like this one. We talk to each other on Facebook, and I mean, I feel like we're such a big community now, and we're getting like we're friends, you know. And that was my point number five. I wanted to have a bigger community, bigger, like have more friends doing the things that I do. Um, didn't visit yet, okay. And yeah, the community, I started hanging out with Selge that has a land about 4 minutes drive from here. Um, we have big plans. That's, I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Not because I don't trust him. I trust him completely. I mean, he's willing to sign documents and whatever, and I don't even think I would need to go that far, honestly, because what's the worst that can happen? I'll lose my chickens again. I mean, I already lost them, so yeah, I doubt it would happen. I mean, I really don't think it would happen. It's just that, you know, whenever we go there, he keeps telling me, you know, come, we'll work on this and we'll do that and do this, and turns out we go there and drink beer and we end up doing nothing. I have like 4 or 5 videos started when I wanted to go and visit him and show some stuff that he was doing, and it turned out that nothing ever really went forward. Looked for a property for a river stream for power, but it needed. Yeah, exactly. Starting over is discouraging. I mean, it's so amazing and weird dropping by everywhere because you feel like you already know them. Yeah, but you know that's a fun part of it. Like, I mean, we already know that we somewhat think the same way. I mean, Hanny and I, we talk pretty much every day. We don't always see eye to eye on everything, but I mean, I'm lucky that I can count her as a friend. When I got down in the summer, she's probably the one that was there for me. You know, the one that listened to me the most when everything happened. And thank you. And I mean, that's the fun part about doing all this. It's not just to have better food on the table or to be, you know, self-sustainable or whatever, but you build a community, you make friends, you make contacts. Like, um, I'll be uh, I'll be working with Selge. Hopefully, like I said, we have plans to start a new barn on this property, so I could potentially move my animals there. But another friend of mine started doing exactly what I've been dreaming of doing my whole life. She purchased around 100 acres of land. She lives about 5 minutes from here, on the other direction, and sorry, they had cows, lambs. They had chickens, turkeys. Uh, I don't remember, Berkshire porks. Maybe they had. I don't know. It was something like one of the best kind of pork you could get, and they sold a lot of meat this weekend. They had a sale at their place, and I think within 3 or 4 hours, in a small place like ours, I think everything was sold. Um, you know, like, I'm glad that I found a place like that. I've heard a lot through other YouTube channels about a company called the Butcher Box. You guys probably heard about it. They don't deliver here in New Brunswick. I checked. I check with them like every 3 to 4 months since everything happened in the summer, and I mean, they just don't deliver here, and they don't have a time frame on when that's going to happen. Um, but I'm just glad that at least I have them there. They're going to sell some meat, and yeah, it could be disappointing, but we've we've helped each other out during the summer already, and without saying that, I didn't bring my animals there yet, but the guy doesn't live there, so that it would be kind of a, I'll help you build, I'll put my animals there, you can put your animals there, we'll split 50-50 on meat, chickens, turkeys, and pigs, and whatever. um, he told me he was getting older, and he felt like he didn't feel good killing the animals. I told him, like, I don't mind doing that part. He said, well, we'll do all the butchering together after, as long as I don't have to kill them, I'm good. um, I don't think that things could really go bad. Maybe they could, but you need someone to take care of the animals because he lives too far away. So to me, it would give me a place to have my animals, and the thing that I would give him in exchange is that I would also take care of his. So I think it's a, winner. We're both winner on that side. Yeah, it's not. I don't think I would need to really invest much, um, considering that I already lost probably close to, I'll say $5,000 because of the complaint that was filed against me, between the sheds, between the barn, between the fencing, the pigs, the animals that I'm going to lose. I mean, I purchased a chicken plucker. It was $1,000, and I might never be able to use it again. So the plan was not to invest in terms of money, because he already knows that I don't have money. It's just that I would give him my time. He has the trees there to cut to get the lumber. We might need to get uh, to rent a little mill for a day or two just to get the lumber going. It might cost us $200, for example, and I don't know. I don't know the price, but we don't intend to invest like $10,000 each there. It's not going to be something like that. I could bring my barn there. Um, it's going to be here doing nothing anyway. Uh, could cost me $200 to get it moved there, but Selch thinks he might know a way to move it there that won't cost me a thing. So rather than having it here doing nothing in the back of my property, might as well bring it there, have my animals there. If shit hits the fan, well, so be it. But I mean, it's already doing nothing, so I wouldn't lose anything. And yes, I think it would be a good project. I'm kind of excited when I think about it. I told him, like, if you want it to be real, we'll have to start planning for it, and that's the plan for the winter. As soon as we can actually start going out a little bit, get out of this lockout. Guessing that you'll have more time, because I think he's not working in the winter, if I understood him right, and he's going to have more time to plan. The only issue we have is that since it's down a hill and we have big winter storms here, the winters are really, really bad. We need to find a way to be able to get there, to get to the barns during the storms. If there's 10 feet of snow in the driveway, I'm not going to drive there with my Jeep. And it's dark at 4:30, 5 p.m. I get out of work at that time. I'm not going to walk in the dark at -40 for 15 minutes to go feed the animals and come back another 15 minutes again. Um, like it won't make sense. So we have to figure out a way to fix that part of the problem. But for the summer, we could have our meat chickens there, turkeys, and other animals that are just going to be there for the summer. We no longer really have friends, neighbors for something like a joint project. Been let down too many times. Yeah, I think it might happen. I mean, it could happen to me also, but I I don't really have nothing to lose at this point. That's the way I see it. So I'm hoping that it's going to work. But if I can make a suggestion to both of you here listening to me, Annie and Darren, if it might not happen now because in the fall I don't think that there's much I could do anyway. But if by next spring we're allowed to go out, I'm still gonna have vacation because I had to cancel this week here. I might be able to get a couple of days, and I could do an exchange with you guys. Let's say you help me find a place to stay, even if I have to sleep in a tent. And in exchange, I go and I help you with whatever project you might need help with, and we'll have a beer after, and taste some of that barbecue you've been talking about lately. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, and that's one of the things I told Sal is I wanted to grow my channel. This was actually my number 6. You guys, are you seeing my list or? Um, so yeah, number 6 was to grow my channel, and I did grow my channel to the point where I am monetized, but I feel like it's been stalling lately. I don't know if it's because I don't have anything to show. I know I've been doing a couple of trainings online, and they've been talking about momentum and stuff like that. But I had a video about moose hunting. That's the one that's been working good for me lately. I should say that's the one that's been uh, still being watched a month later. It's probably the only one, but I can't go moose hunting again. So I have to find other ways. And by building a barn, doing a project like that, I think it would definitely help my channel do something different, maybe. And yeah. Yeah, that I'm not gonna comment on that because everything that happened to me, pigs and stuff. I had one of my neighbor involved with me. It's weird now because I don't know if he's mad at me. I don't know if we're still friends. Um, let's just leave it at that. But I mean, I get what you mean. Yeah, I've been like I said, you've been doing it lately, and it's something that I would really love to do. I know there's a couple of good homesteading channels here in New Brunswick. Also, there's a Mapleberry Farm um, in the Sussex area. I know there's another one, Sharon and Derek. I think I'm not exactly sure where they're located. There's also Runamuck Farm, um, not too far from Moncton. Those are channels that I like to follow because they're local. I mean, especially when they're local, you try to support your brothers and sisters. And there's also one. What's her name again? It's just because I'm trying to think. There's a couple in Nova Scotia there that are doing pretty good too. And yeah, I'd like to visit them. I'd like to go on the Quebec side. I know there's a lot of nice people on the Quebec side. Darren, Annie, Mallory. I mean, I'd be willing to take a week off. Maybe my son would like to come. Um, Maplecroft. I don't think I've heard of them. Maplecroft. I'll have to look. But yeah, I definitely would like to go and go for a drive. The thing is, I mean, the budget is kind of tight. In the spring, it's always buying animals, buying this, buying that. The food in the freezer is getting lower, and you have to start sometimes using more money to buy some at the store. And um, I just need to find a way to do it. That won't be too expensive. It's one thing if I have a place to stay, like Dor. I mean, I don't mind going at your place. You put a tent on the ground and sleep there 2-3 days, help you out. that would be my pleasure to just go and do something like that, you know. But I know for someone like Hanny, it's probably going to be harder to do something like that. If I drop by your place to go say hi, it might be a little different. I mean, I'm just, I mean, brainstorming here, just talking. But yeah, it is going up like crazy. That's another issue. I would like to do something that, you know, I wouldn't have to travel as much, go in a circle or something, or go to a point, come back, and try to get as many people on the way as possible. But yeah, just the one beer. I didn't say how, like, I mean, one beer. You know, it's just one beer. One beer every hour or one beer every 15 minutes. Nobody needs to know. Creekside Maples. I think I've seen them. I think if I. Yeah, Creekside Maples. I'll have to look. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're the ones that I've seen or not. But I'll go take a look later on. Um, and yeah, like, I mean, we were talking about community. I was on Tracy Han T Han 141 the other day. He was on a live stream, and he kind of invited me to go over someday for deer hunting trip, which is amazing because we barely have any deers around here. I've shot 3 deers in the last 15 years, and one of them I missed because, well, I found out after that my scope was not aligned properly, and I missed by about 2 feet. So, um, and I told him, you know, in exchange, someday I have my guide license. I just need to renew it for $10 per year, and you know, like, he could come over and moose hunt with me because he's never been moose hunting before. Yeah, well, you know, it's always delicate when you go meet new people. You don't know. Can you trust them? Can you trust me? Can I trust you? I'm pretty sure I could. I mean, Haney, you basically know my whole life by now. Um, yeah, if I could bring one of the kids, I mean, I'm pretty sure Anthony would love to come too, and he's a good worker and he loves to learn all that kind of stuff. Gas is insane. I always tell, I go to pay every time I pay, and they ask me how much gas that I put. I always tell them I put for $20 of gas, so it cost me 40. And they look at me and they're like, "What?" Well, I put $40 of gas, but really I just put around 20-25 liters in my car, so it's only worth $20, but I have to pay 40 for it. 140, 151, and I think that's what it is around here too. Last time I checked, it was over the 150 for sure. Um, it's just crazy. Too old and broken to sleep in a tent. When I went moose hunting with my parents and my brother, in the trailer, I mean, my parents took the double bed. I mean, it's their trailer, so of course. And the couch can open up to do double bed. Like, I don't know if it's a queen bed or whatever. And it's one of those air mattresses that you have to blow air in, and you I don't know. I'm so not comfortable on those things. You fart, and the other one behind you shakes for 15 minutes. You know, like it. I hate it, and I decided to sleep on the floor. I said, "I'll sleep on the floor. I have a sleeping bag." Um, no, and I remember sleeping in a tent, and I'm pretty sure if I did it now, I'd probably be sore for a week. But I just go up the stairs and I'm sore for a week, so it wouldn't change much. It wouldn't be a much big difference. Oh, $2 a liter. It's crazy. It's crazy, and that's one of the things we're fighting for in our union right now. I think our salary only went up for about like 2% in the last 15 years, and the cost of life probably went up by 50%. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have my own little farm here. Um, you know, my own animals, my own. you can save so much money by doing that. And not only that, it's good. A friend of mine was arguing with me the other day, telling me that, there's no way that you could have chickens cheaper than what you have them at a store. I said last year, with the price that I paid for the chicken at 3 weeks old, the where I purchased them from, they made a mistake. They gave me one extra chicken. With the fee that I gave them, the fact that they were free range for a little while, the price that I paid for my bags, the price that I mean, I didn't have the chicken plucker last year, so everything added up together came to $7.69 a chicken. They were not super big, they were not huge, they were all between 3 and 4 pounds of chicken. But you can't get a chicken, organic chicken, that cheap in the store. That's impossible. And I mean, even if it's just to take like the manure and put it in a compost pile and make your own compost, and it's going to help in the garden on the long run, and it's going to give you better vegetables, better fruits. Yeah, can you like? I mean, I work about 20 minutes from here. I work in town, which is about 20 minutes from here, and I literally have to put gas money in my budget to go to work. And sometimes, if gas money goes up too much, I end up like, I'm wondering, should I call in sick because I don't have gas in my car and my paycheck is only coming tomorrow? Like it's not to that point, but it's almost there. It's crazy. It's at least $50 of gas a week just to go to work, and that's not driving the kids to their soccer practice, or well, they haven't played sports in 2 years, but it's not bringing the kids to their friend's house, or going with my parents to visit them, or sorry, it's not going hunting, or it's it's just crazy now. It's too expensive. They want us to work, and they want us to work for free. I mean, I've never felt so. What's the word? I feel like I'm being held hostage right now by the whole system. Even if you try to get out of the system to go off grid, here in New Brunswick, it's impossible. It's impossible because you need to have a house to be able to pay property taxes. You need to have an address to be able to fill your tax. And if you have an address, you need to have a house. If you have a house, you need to pay your property taxes. If you pay your property taxes, well, by definition, you're in the system. You could go off grid, pay your property taxes, and do all of that. No electricity, being with solar panels only. But would you really save on the long run? Might as well go work and do like I do. Like, that's the best balance that I found so far at the moment. It could change. I keep telling my friends that I wish my girlfriend would make more money than me. That way I could stay home and be full time in the garden. I know, like, Haney, you're doing it. I know some other people on YouTube are doing it also. It could be hard. It could be tough, being 24/7 in the house, on your property with the kids, with the screaming, the yelling, with you know, if it's raining, you can't go outside. If it's snowing, you can't do much. There's always something, but at least you're working on your own pace. If you don't want to do something today, yes, you might get behind, but nobody's going to blame you for taking a nap. Yeah, the quality of the food. The last 4 or 5 times, like, I won't exaggerate. Let's say the last 4 or 5 times I've ate chickens in the store. Those pre-cooked chickens you buy for $10. I got sick. Stomach pain, cramps, diarrhea, everything. Like, it's I can't eat it anymore. Like I'm gonna have to stop eating chickens if I can't grow my own chickens here. And yes, you are true, Haney. And yes, the regular food is going up like you. Someone was arguing with me that you go moose hunting, you don't save money. That's not true. Oh, my boyfriend used to go moose hunting. He'd come home empty-handed. He'd bring beer for a week. He'd bring this and that. It would cost him $1,000. Come home. Those people that go on vacation in Cuba or Mexico, do they bring home meat? No. They do it for fun. They do it because they want to relax. They do it because they want to get out of the life they're in at the moment. I go moose hunting. That's my getaway place. That's what I have to do to free my mind. My parents have a trailer. It didn't cost me anything to live there this year. Usually I tried arguing with my parents to pay for gas for a generator. They didn't even allow me to. They didn't want me to. Um, I brought my food. That's all I brought. My food and my gun. Of course, I paid gas for my Jeep. And then, since my parent killed the first day, they wanted to come with us for the following days. And at some point, I needed to go put gas in the Jeep, so I would have had to get out of the woods, go put gas at the gas station, and go back. I ended up taking the gas from the gas cans my dad had there for the generator. He didn't even want me to pay for it. Of course, let's say that I would have had to pay for it. Let's put $100 of gas for a week for moose hunting. You still need to eat, whether you're home or you're in the woods. You're gonna eat, so I don't count that as an extra expense. Why would you? Beer is not mandatory. It's a surplus. It's. I mean, you don't go hunting without beer. But I brought 2 cases of 24. You can't drink when you're hunting. You'll drink a couple of beers at night. You get at the trailer, you eat. By the time you're done, you have time to drink 3, 4, 5 beers. It's time to go to bed. You wake up in the next morning. You don't have time to drink too much, Um, and then you get out of there. If you in New Brunswick, chances that you don't kill a moose, they're very, very slim. I think this year was one of the worst year I've ever seen. I think the ratio was still around 75% success. And 75%, that counts those that get maybe like 4 license in a group of 5, that they won't even worry about the second or the third or the fourth moose. That also counts the people, the animal protection activists that will apply for a license just because they have in their mind that if they win a license, that's going to remove a license for another hunter that's going to save a moose. I know for a fact that happens. It doesn't take for account also that some people will get their license, but they just want to get away from their wives. I've heard that also in the past. People say, well, I have my moose license. I'm just going in the woods with the boys, play cards all week, It happens. It's not everyone, but it does happen. And then there's always that slim part of the population that will get a license and for some reason will just be very, very unlucky. I know for a fact that it happened this year, but most of the time you get back home with a moose, and I got 400-pound moose. It didn't cost me $400 from the whole hunting, like the license, the bullets, the gas, the butcher. I still ended up with more than what I paid for. That's for sure. But there is no price you can put on food that has chemicals and you eat it. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have heard about this mysterious neurological disease here in New Brunswick. It's still out there. Nobody really knows what's going on. I'm not saying that it was caused by food or whatever, but it gets you wondering, like, is it really safe to eat stuff that's out there? Uh, for for a while, a couple of years back, I remember every couple of months there'd be a recall on lettuce or on spinach or whatever because there would be some E. coli associated with those products. I've never had E. coli here with my lettuce. I've never had any issue. Sorry. I eat my own chickens here, the ones that I harvested myself, the one that I raised and I harvested myself. I've never got sick by eating those chickens. And I'm one person that for the last 15 years, I've had to take stomach pills, Zantac, Pantaloc, acid reducer medication. Since I started my own garden, I don't. Maybe there's also the fact, let's put in perspective, also the fact that I'm a sugar bug. I eat a lot of sugar. I eat a lot of junk food. Well, since I have my garden, let's just say it's not as bad, and I'm guessing that could be one of the reasons also that this is happening. But I take so much pride in growing my own food that I don't want it to go to waste. This year, that's one of the things I failed in my garden was cucumbers. But last year, I've had at least 100 cucumbers during my growing season, and it was one cucumber after another. I mean, every snack at work, every lunch break, I would have a cucumber. But if I ate a cucumber, I wasn't eating Oreos or chocolate bar. That helped my stomach very, very much. Yeah, I know I'm a bit behind on your. You guys are talking, and I'm here talking pretty much to myself. Uh, that's what I find stupid because if you sell your house, you're gonna pay taxes. The one purchasing the house is gonna pay taxes. Then he's gonna pay taxes on the property. My dad inherited from my grandfather's land. He's still having to pay taxes on that land. It was here before he was probably here before the New Brunswick government was even funded, and still we have to pay taxes on something that should be ours. Like it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I didn't know they were doing that though, but I mean, for a while, we've been talking about the effect that the steroids or whatever they give the animals to make them grow a whole lot faster. It is having an effect on humans. Um, I remember going to school, and I mean the teenager's body wouldn't start changing until they were 13, 15 years old. Now you see kids around 10, 11 that that they're now teenagers. Let's put it this way, and it doesn't make sense. Why is there more and more cancer? You know, E. coli and veggies yummy. You remember that though, right? Like I think it was like 3, 4 years ago. It was like every month, every second month, there'd be E. coli outbreak somewhere. And see ya, Hanny. Thanks for being here. Yes, take time for yourself. We all deserve to have some time for ourselves. I had to stay here today. The kids are going out for Halloween. I had to stay here because they might call me for the strike at any time, and I have to be home. Because if I'm not home when they call, I could get suspended with no salary. So I want to be here when they call, but I figured it would be a good time to just come and, you know, wrap up my season a little bit. I'm kind of out of ideas for upcoming videos. I don't know what to do. I was hoping to go deer hunting, but looks like that might not happen. Um, hopefully we can figure out a way to go for a couple of days. But if we're on strike, I can't take any days off. So that kind of sucks. So, yeah. I got 2 freezers that are full. One is full with moose meat, a couple of chickens. I have 1 freezer that's full with um, veggies, fiddleheads, carrots, beans. Do I have anything else? I have a couple of zucchinis also, and I have a couple of turkeys. So I can say that my year, regardless of everything that happened, was somewhat a good year. I made friends. I was able to get to move into a bigger community. Made some new friends. Um, Sal, Haney, Darren, um, like Steph and Chris at Hickory Farm. We don't really talk out of YouTube, but I mean, if you ever need anything, you guys, you know that I'm here. Uh, I was able to meet some new people doing homesteading in my area that I didn't even know was a thing. Living off the land is something that was totally new to me up to 2 years ago. I saw some people doing it in other part of the country, maybe, but I thought it was only the poor people doing it. Like, oh, they're living off the land because they're poor. But now I realize that they might look poor, but that's because they want to live off the land. And those people are actually the richest people I know. Because as long as you can pay your taxes and that you don't have any more expenses, let's say that if my house was paid for, or I had a cabin somewhere paid for, and I could garden all year, and I could make just enough money to pay for my taxes, what will be the point in working? Because we work to pay for electricity, we work to pay for insurance, we work to pay for our property taxes, we work for a mortgage, we work for a car payment. If you don't go anywhere, you don't really need a big car payment. You don't really need a big expensive car. A car that would be paid cash would be enough. If you have a wood stove, you don't really need electricity if you don't want to have electricity. You could just pay for internet and, that'd be enough. Of course, a freezer is something that you kind of need. But Darren, there's also, we could have what's it called? I'm just trying to figure out the name. Just because I'm trying to say it won't come out. But you dig a hole underground, and anyway, that's another possibility. You could put a lot of veggies and a lot of meat. I mean, our ancestors used to do it all the time. They didn't have electricity back then, and they would preserve food for a long time. So there are ways to do it. It's just a matter of finding the right way to do it. And I think I'm getting close to the end of my video here, but just wanted to. Can you get to the coast easy? Video on that. Can you get to any commercial fishing docks? Any cool landscape around there? Yeah, that's something I was thinking about doing last year in partnership with work, somewhat, because we are in a small place that we're really lacking staff members in a hospital. We are in desperate need of technician and pharmacist, and I feel like people don't know our place, like they don't recognize our place for what it is. It's a nice place. It's a beautiful place, beautiful area. Yes, I'm about 15 minutes from the beach. The fishing docks around here, the commercial ones will be probably a little bit further. But I know some friends that live on the reserves not too far from here that I might be able to do some videos with them in the next coming year. Just a matter of talking to them, like I'll go volunteer for you if you let me film. my friend close by that started a new farm. It's called Fontaine and Fontaine. There are two Fontaine that ended up together working on the farm. And I told her, I'll come, I'll volunteer for you, just let me film. And she said, that's fine by me, like we take all the help we can get. And I even proposed to her, like, show me your animals, show me the routine. And if you ever want to go on vacation, give me a call, I'll go take care of your animals while you're gone. And, that's something I would love to do. And that's something that, would help them. Yeah, root cellar, that's the word I was looking for. Uh, and yeah, I was talking about work. I was hoping to, in partnership with work, to do a video, maybe show like the 4 seasons we have here, but show like the beautiful aspect of each and every single season. Because here in the fall, I mean, we have hunting. We have a lot of hunting seasons. Like we have different kind of animals we can hunt. We can hunt bear, deers. Not in my area, deers, but not too far from here. You can go, well, about 3 hours from here, you can go and hunt deers. You can hunt moose if you get drawn. Partridge is, I call them partridge, but I think the real word is rough grouse. I think you can also hunt rabbits, hares, I should say. I don't know what else, but I mean, in the fall, that's what it is here. Like the nice colors, the nice landscaping. The mountain, we have the Sherlock Mountain here. That's not a big mountain. It takes maybe 30 minutes to climb to the top, but it's just a beautiful view with a beautiful Restigouche River. In the summer, we have the beach, fishing. In the winter, we have so much skidoo trails, restaurants, hotels for anyone who wants to skidoo around. And I mean, in the spring, there's a lot of fishing getting done. The Restigouche River is known worldwide for salmon and black trout. So there is a lot to show. It's just a matter of kicking myself in the butt and just deciding myself to go and actually do it. Things you think might be everyday and normal, some people have never seen. Yeah, no. I was showing a video the other day about the snow we had here, and some people were impressed. But I mean, it was just like the first snow of the year. We can get pretty harsh winters here sometimes. Last couple of winters were not that bad, but the 2 or 3 previous winters before that were probably some of the worst. I mean, you start having snow the beginning of November and it goes until the end of May. We still had storms at the end of May. Can you imagine? You have about 12, 13 feet of snow. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's a current here, a different airflow goes in Baie des Chaleurs for some reason, and it's way colder, and we have way worse winters. And that's one of the reasons why I think we don't have as much deer here. There's a lot of cuttings in the woods where, like, you can see deserts and deserts of cuttings. So imagine a deer running away from a coyote. He's used to have those trails, but he ends up in the snow where he can barely run because he has snow over his head, and he's trying to get away from a coyote, and he ends up in an open space like that. He's going to get eaten alive every single time. So I think those are 2 different reasons why we don't have much deers around. And yes, it's something that we don't think about often. Like we take things for granted, and some of the things that are normal here for us is some things we've never seen for other people. I left a comment on a video. What's her name again? Seed to Plate. Her name, I think, she's called Brooke Willard. She's in Texas somewhere, and she's doing some gardening. You can check her video out. She's pretty amazing. Um, in the summer, their stuff basically almost doesn't grow because it's too dry, it's too warm. She's starting her garden now. I'm like, what? 8 reasons to live on the East Coast video. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna write it down to make sure I don't forget about that one. 8 reasons to live here. The only issue I have with living here is that most of the village around here and cities, of course, won't allowed um, won't allow you to have animals. 8 reasons not to live on the East Coast. I don't want to scare people away. I want them to come over. Um, I guess if I could go lower in the province, I know Sussex is a known place for being there's a lot of farmland. A friend of mine, very good friend of mine, actually. Um, I don't want to go in details. I don't want to talk about his personal life, but things happened, and he ended up divorced, and they had to sell the house, and he ended up buying a farmhouse. And he was telling me, he's 2 years older than me. And he was telling me that, in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, maybe he was going to retire. He has a good job. Okay. We have to admit that he has a good job. He's a pretty good computer programmer. He's making good money, but how can I say that? He's so fascinated by all that stuff. He's in love with that part of life as much as I am. Fishing, hunting. He shows me some videos sometimes of his land where he has those big field of grass and a bunch of deers in them. He purchased pigs, chickens, rabbits, and he's already doing the life that I was hoping to be able to live at some point. And I can see that going down there will be a very, very big, nice step for me. When I was talking about working on my property here, everything was in with the goal that I was going to retire here, and by the time I would retire, I'd be set here with my animals. I would have, I wanted to have. I didn't want to have 1,000 pigs. I wanted to have a couple of pigs, just so they could breed and have a couple of piglets every year. And after a while, you buy a tractor. I've seen your tractor, Darren. You have a pretty nice tractor. I mean, even if it's just something to lift your animals up so you can skin it, butcher it yourself. I was hoping to go at some point, take some butchering classes, and do my own meat. I have a meat slicer here. I just need to buy a bone cutter or bone saw or whatever you call it, and then I could go and butcher my own meat. But there's nothing that stops me when I'm retiring if I can pay off this house, sell this house, take the money, buy land down there, and start from scratch. I was having a chat with my brother the other day, and he told me, if I move away, he's not going to stay here after my parents are gone. We hope that my parents are going to be here long after us, but chances are they're going to leave at some point before we do. And they signed me the house on their testament. If something happens to them, I get the house. My brother gets the land, and I mean we're not going to fight over any of that stuff, my brother and I. But chances are, the more I think about it, the more I look at how I was treated around here by the neighbor that filed a complaint, and the neighbor's son that used to go to school with me, that I know that he filed a complaint as well. I don't feel home here anymore. My home village is where I don't feel home anymore. And home is not where you have a roof on top of your head. Home is where the heart is, and my heart is where my animals are. So right now I don't feel home, and I feel like whenever I go outside, there's a neighbor watching me. They're watching me. They're watching everything I do. I feel like you know I'm not in my place. I'm not home. The neighbors are far enough that I shouldn't have to feel this way. And I mean, I get out of my house every morning and step in dog's poop. I have a small dog about that big here. You know, it's a Shih Tzu pug zoo, I think they're called, whatever. Her poop is about small pieces like that. I go outside and I step in poop every morning, and I know it's not my dog's poop. And then if I say something, I'm the bad neighbor complaining for nothing. But I mean, I don't like to have neighbor's dog on my property. What am I supposed to do? I just don't feel home anymore. And I'm hoping that, if I can get to the point where I can sell this house, and at some point the kids will be all grown up, they'll be going to university, college, or whatever. The house here won't matter as much, and I will sell it for cheaper if I have to. I'm going to move out. If my girlfriend follows me, the better. If she doesn't, too bad. I'm not going to stay here for the rest of my life. That's definitely an affirmation. I'm not going to stay here forever, that's for sure. 6 reasons to cheer for Canadians. Beer, 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 beer. A lot of reasons to cheer for Canadians. Just remember, sometimes people feel like hearing the negative or flip side of the argument. Yeah. I just have a bone saw. Never took a course. YouTube is great for that as well. A couple of books I recommend. Yeah, that's what I was thinking also. Like, I don't really have to go and take a big course. If I could get bone saw, but if I want to get a good one, it's expensive. And I wanted to start, with bear hunting this year. I've been bear hunting. I was bear hunting a couple of years back, and I never had a chance to get one. And I'm pretty sure by next spring, I'm gonna get a bear license. And if I can kill a bear, I don't intend to pay for a butcher. I think I'm gonna try and do it myself. If I miss my chance, if I do something wrong, I have a meat grinder here. I'll just put it in there and do some hamburger. I mean, I won't worry about cutting the pieces at the wrong spots or not. I was able to learn how to butcher chicken in 15 minutes by watching some of Justin Rhodes' videos. So I'm pretty sure I can learn how to harvest and skin and butcher a bear the proper way. And once that's done, pretty sure I could do my own pigs later on, my own moose, my own deers. It's something I would love to do because that's a big part of being self-sufficient. And I mean, my brother told me at some point, like, we'll just cut it whatever. Like, if we get a moose and we don't want to pay the butcher, we can just cut it however we want. We're going to eat it anyway. And I think he was right at some point. I mean, if we just cut where the muscle, like between the muscles, we're going to end up with some nice chunks of meat. We can cook it the way we want and eat it anyway. We can slice it up, do some steaks, or debone them. I mean, I've been doing that with my grouse lately. I did that yesterday with some of the chickens I have here. I like to freeze them that way. Just get them out, cook them right away. You don't need to worry about the bones, and you don't need to worry about cleaning it up and stuff like that. So I think you're right about that one there. And like, there's so many good information on YouTube, so many good information in the books out there. I think I should be able to go and learn everything by myself. I'm hoping I can do that anyway. Well, it's just you and me, Darren. Thanks for being here, and thanks for supporting me. Thank you, everyone that's been on the live stream at some point, even if you didn't comment. Thank you, everyone that are gonna watch this in rerun. I know some people do. Um, Thank you, everyone that's been supporting me in the last year, through the goods and the bads. I mean, I've had a lot of bads this year, a lot of bad lucks. I went moose hunting and had a flat tire on the first day. I went to butcher, not to butcher, but to open the moose my parents got. I cut myself on the finger, and I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's like a spot of skin missing here. And I mean, my finger was cut like this, and it hurt really bad. But there was some goods also. I mean, like I said, I got to meet a lot of friends, and hit me up on Facebook as well if you want to chat more. Sure, Darren, I'll do that. I'll try to find you on. I think I can find you on the homesteading group there, and we'll have a chat someday. And don't hesitate if you ever want to come to New Brunswick. Uh, all my rooms are full, but we can always find a way. I'll sleep on the couch or whatever. There's always some options. Don't hesitate if you want to come fish some striped bass next year. You're more than welcome. We can try to figure out a way to go and rent a boat maybe, and have a nice weekend. So since I'm alone talking now, like I said, thank you everyone that's been supporting me in the goods and the bads, and thank you everyone that's going to watch this later on. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll have some more ideas for more videos to come. See you next time. Bye.